Hello friends, today we are going to try ChatGPT. ChatGPT, yes, ChatGPT that is making a lot of noise in the tech world. In fact, beyond the tech world. So ChatGPT can answer pretty much everything you throw at it. You just ask anything to ChatGPT and it will answer your questions. So basically, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence tool, and the story of AI is quite old. So basically, in 1964, researchers at MIT University they were looking for a computer program which can answer questions of human beings. So they were developing this computer program which was very much ahead of its time, that it would allow seamless communication between humans and machines. And by 1966 they built Eliza, an app that would set the foundation for all the future chatbots. What made Eliza so impressive was the introduction of keyword enabled responses. For the first time, users felt that they were talking to someone who understood their input. So basically, they just ask this keyword enabled questions to this Eliza app, and it replied some responses. So it's just like Alexa, Siri, or Google Assistants, which we people use these days. And we just ask anything to the assistance tools, and they give us some answers. And AI is what it is. Like it is a very powerful tool which can reply to most of our questions. And it's like we are talking to some human being. So that is how AI responds back. And in November 2022, an artificial intelligence research firm called OpenAI introduced ChatGPT, an advanced AI-powered chatbot that has taken the world by storm. So ChatGPT is making a lot of noise in the tech world, and OpenAI is the organization behind ChatGPT, and it has become so popular that Microsoft has started investing billions of dollars in ChatGPT, and it will be using ChatGPT in most of its applications. People who are using ChatGPT, they know that it has huge potential in almost a lot of fields. It is not only about technology or for software engineering folks, but a lot of people who are outside tech world, like travelers or creative writers, copywriters, advertisers, digital marketers, they are also using ChatGPT for their particular sector. So it is a universal platform where people can find solutions to their problems. Okay, so that is ChatGPT, and it has actually taken the world by storm. Even Google is a bit threatened by ChatGPT, because most of the people who go to Google for finding answers to their questions, they have started using ChatGPT, because there is a difference between how you get answers over Google and how you get answers on ChatGPT. So on Google, you basically type a keyword or your entire question, you hit enter, and you get a lot of search results. Okay, and you try different links, you go to all of those search results, and then you compile an answer. Okay, this is the answer for my question, or this can be answer to my question. But on ChatGPT, you just type your question and you get a particular answer from ChatGPT. It is not like you are given a lot of answers. You are given one answer, and which is accurate most of the time. But I'm not saying that you'll always get 100% accurate answer. Sometimes ChatGPT doesn't answer you with 100% accuracy, and sometimes the answers are not even correct. But the way it frames those answers, they look very real. So we'll see that how ChatGPT works in this video. And in this particular video, we will focus ChatGPT to AWS related questions, because here we talk about cloud and technology. So we will ask ChatGPT some AWS specific questions, and we'll try to see how well it handles those questions. So let's dive into ChatGPT. So this is how ChatGPT looks. You just say hello and it will reply you back. So let's start our journey with ChatGPT. Hello, ChatGPT. So let's see how ChatGPT answers our cloud-related questions. So I have a couple of questions for ChatGPT. Let's see how it will handle. So let's start with our first question. Um, I want to build. I want to build a serverless app on AWS, which allows user to upload images along with description. Okay, so this is what I want to build. I want to build a serverless app on AWS which allows users to upload images along with description. So something like Instagram allows users to upload images along with captions, hashtags. So something like that I want to like design on AWS. I'm not going into very specific details, but I'm asking ChatGPT to give me a solution which would address this problem. Okay, so let's see. Just I would just type this question and I'll wait how ChatGPT comes up with an answer. So it has started answering this question. Yeah. So let's see what the solution is. So yeah, it says that there are several AWS services that you can use to build a serverless app that allows users to upload images along with a description. And here are few options. It tells Amazon S3 for storing the images. Good. So definitely we'll, if we are uploading images on AWS, we'll use Amazon S3. That is correct. Amazon DynamoDB for storing the image descriptions. You can create a DynamoDB table to store the image metadata such as image name, description, and URL. That also is correct. We'll use Amazon DynamoDB if we are going serverless. So we can use Amazon DynamoDB, which is a key value based database on AWS, and we can store the description in DynamoDB table. That is also correct. It was Lambda for handling the image upload process. You can create a Lambda function that is triggered when a user uploads an image to the S3 bucket. The function can then read the image metadata from the user's request, store it in the DynamoDB table, and generate a unique URL for the image. Looks correct to me. Amazon API Gateway for creating an API endpoint that users can use to interact with your application. Also good. You can create a RESTful API using API Gateway and associate it with Lambda function. So this is a very nice solution, serverless solution. You use API Gateway, you use Lambda, DynamoDB in S3, store images in S3, and description and image metadata goes to DynamoDB. Lambda handles all the processing of images, uploading it to S3. All those part is taken care of by Lambda. API Gateway exposes the endpoint to the front end users. So yeah, this is a nice solution. Uh, then it also suggests AWS AppSync for creating a GraphQL API. It allows you to create a flexible schema. You can also use Amazon Cognito for handling user authentication, Amazon CloudFront for caching the images and delivering them faster to the users. So all of these technologies which it has recommended, they make sense to me. Okay, if you're going to build this particular solution for uploading image and description on AWS, then all of the solutions which are listed here, they make sense. So it is good. Like if you try to look for this particular question on Google, it will give you a lot of blogs, articles, a lot of things. And if you're just looking for a high level answer, okay, what are the technologies which I can rely upon? So yeah, ChatGPT is good platform. So it passes our exam. Okay. Then it also suggests that there are just a few of the services that you can use to build a serverless app on AWS. Depending on your specific requirement, you may also need to use other services like SNS, SQS, etc. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead with the next question, and I'll type the next question here. So actually I have written down this and I'll just copy paste here. So hey ChatGPT, I want to build an IoT device which publish data to the cloud and the data is shown in an Android app in real time. Can you help me build this on AWS? So let's see if ChatGPT answers our question. So it says yes, you can use AWS to build an IoT device that publishes data to the cloud and displays it in real-time Android app. Here is an overview of how you can build this using AWS services. So it suggests to use AWS IoT Core for connecting your IoT device to the cloud, which is correct. You can use IoT Core to create a thing that represents your device and then use the IoT Core device SDK to connect your device to the cloud. So it not just gives you the technology, it also explains what you can do on the technology. So I like this approach that okay, you can use IoT Core and then you can use IoT Core to create a thing that represents your device. So if you are aware with AWS solutions, then using ChatGPT for particular architecture for designing particular system, it's a very good way to like get help. So you can come to ChatGPT, you can just throw your requirement and it comes up with certain technology stacks that use this, do this in this technology, and you can achieve this particular solution, which is quite good. And then it says AWS IoT device shadows for synchronizing the device state. Okay, Amazon Kinesis for real-time data streaming, which is also good. Amazon DynamoDB for storing the device data, which is kind of correct. Amazon SNS for sending notifications to the Android app. Good. AppSync for creating a GraphQL API. It allows you to create a flexible schema, managing data relationships, and handle offline and real-time data scenarios, which is also good. So, like, if you want to build such a solution, we already have such a video on our YouTube channel where we use AppSync, AWS IoT Core, Lambda, and DynamoDB to build such a real-time application using AWS IoT Core and AppSync. So you can check out our YouTube channel for this particular video. And it also suggests Amazon Cognito for handling authentication authorization, Amplify for building the Android app, which is kind of good. So quite impressive. Now I have third question, which is pretty much interesting. And let's see how ChatGPT answers this question. So here is my question. I want to upload images as well as data in an API. So I want to build an API which accepts images as well as some text data. And the images must be stored on AWS S3. And for building the API, I want to use AWS AppSync. How can I build this solution? So let's see how ChatGPT answers this question. So ChatGPT is saying that create an S3 bucket. Okay, cool. We create an S3 bucket. And then create a GraphQL schema for your API using AppSync. The schema should define the data types and fields that your API will accept. Good. Create a new AppSync API and set up the data source. You can use DynamoDB or any other data source. Create a resolver for the image field in the schema. Okay. The resolver can be configured to upload the image to S3 and return the URL of the image. Okay, so in AppSync, there is a schema and then there is a resolver. So if you don't know about AppSync, there is another video on our YouTube channel where I explain about AppSync and how you can use it to build GraphQL APIs. You can check that out as well on our YouTube channel. So it says that in the mutation in the schema, um, you can this can be used to accept the input data, including the image, and store it in the data source. Use AppSync's SDK to make a mutation from your client application to upload the image and data together. Now, here is my concern that it is saying that use AppSync to upload the images. Okay, the mutation can be used to accept the input data, including the image, but this is not correct. We cannot pass an image as like we cannot pass image or any other binary data to AppSync APIs. So this is what is not correct here. Rest all other points are correct, but this fifth point is not correct. So I'll just counter question ChatGPT that, hey, ChatGPT, we cannot pass image in AppSync mutation. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. So it says, yeah, you are correct that images cannot be passed directly in an AppSync mutation. Instead, you can use a multi-step approach to handle image uploads. Okay, so it agreed that the earlier solution it has given is not correct. So this is one of the case where ChatGPT can also not give you so correct answers. So don't rely blindly on ChatGPT for getting answers to your questions. Okay. So think about when you are expecting some answer from ChatGPT, read it and think about it carefully. Sometimes it might not be correct. So it has given another answer after realizing that, okay, in AppSync mutation, we cannot pass images directly. So it says create an S3 bucket. Okay, create a GraphQL schema. Okay, the schema should define the data types. Okay, create a new AppSync API and set up a data source, DynamoDB, create a mutation in the schema. Okay, create a separate endpoint for uploading images to S3. This endpoint can be implemented using AWS Lambda or any other serverless technology. Use the AppSync SDK to make a mutation from your client application to upload the image data to the data source and S3 image URL to S3. Use a Lambda function that is triggered when the image is uploaded to S3 to resize and manipulate images, generate thumbnails, and other image processing tasks. Okay, so it is saying that create a mutation, and this mutation can be used to accept the input data, including S3 image URL, and store it in the data source. Create a separate endpoint outside of AppSync for uploading the images to S3. Okay, and this endpoint can be implemented using AWS Lambda or any other serverless technology. So it is asking us to create a separate endpoint for uploading the images to S3 and not upload the images directly via AppSync. And this separate endpoint can be implemented using AWS Lambda or any other serverless technology. So we'll upload images to S3 using this endpoint. Okay. And once that image is uploaded, this Lambda function is triggered when the image is uploaded to S3 to resize, manipulate images, generate thumbnails. So this is an extra step. Okay. So it says this is a high level overview of how you can use AppSync and S3 to handle image uploads. You could also use Amplify for building the client application and connecting it to the backend services. This way you don't have to implement an endpoint for image uploads. So kind of correct, but the earlier solution was not correct. AppSync doesn't allow image uploads directly over mutation. So you can either use a different endpoint or you can use Amplify library for building your client application, by which you can also upload directly to S3. So this is how ChatGPT answers questions, answers to our questions. Okay, and sometimes it might not give correct answer. So be careful while using ChatGPT, and yeah, after all, it's a machine, it's not a human being.